Hi, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you've joined me today. I'm Kelly Pitts with Create with Kelly, and I'm thrilled that you're here, whether you're watching live on YouTube or live on Facebook, or if you're watching a replay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Lubbock, Texas, and I have been since 2005. So we're having a lot of fun with this new Winnie the Pooh suite called Silly Old Bear. And I've done a collection of 10 cards that I have a PDF linked below this video. If y'all are interested in that, you can fill out that Google form and order that. Or maybe you came to some of my classes. We had a lot of fun with the class dates where we had a Pooh party and made these 10 cards. And I also have 3 more cards I'll be doing videos on that I've done a techniques class already for. So, and I'm going to have a product spotlight class coming up on Monday the 29th. So just wanted to let you know that if you're interested in some of these cards. Yay! Thanks again for tuning in, and share with your crafty friends. And hope you'll make a comment and let me know who you are and where you're from when you pop in. I'm going to switch the camera and we're ready to go. Have some fun. All right. We have the scene. Let me show you where the scenes come from in the DSP. And I've shown this on every card just about that I've done so far. But this is that scene. So you cut your paper anywhere. You can cut it all the way across the full width of the paper, which is 12 inches. So you'll cut across there, and then individually cut your scenes apart. That's the easiest way to do it. So we have that scene on this card, which is a really sweet, welcoming kind of card that could be for somebody who's been ill or has had somebody in their family ill or just had something major or traumatic in their life happen, and you need them to let you know that they can knock on your door anytime and you're available. And that's what I feel like this tells that story. So I'm using the storybook character of Piglet that's from the Winnie the Pooh set, the Silly Old Bear. And I have used, if you'll look at that background, can you see how deep those impressions are? I mean, it is beautiful. That's from the Stone and Vine 3D embossing folder. This one right here. And it really makes a great impression. I like that a lot. And then I'm also going to show you today how to make this frame with an impressions pad, which is a new thing that we have. So that's fun. Impressions plate. They call it a plate, but it's more like a pad. Okay, we're starting with the crumb cake base. And let's see how we want to do this. Let's go ahead. I'll show you how to do this impressions pad or impressions frame. Why don't we show you that first so we can get the big shot out of the way. Just a sec. Not the big shot, the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. You can tell I've been around a while. Okay, here we go. I didn't want to do this ahead just in case some of y'all haven't seen the way the impressions pad works. And first off, you use the die just like in regular die cutting. And we've got a piece of cherry cobbler that is 2 3/4 by 4 1/2. And we're going to die cut that with the phrases and frames die. That's this one right here. Close up. And it makes beautiful impressions for sure. But it's got several dies, and I'll show you once we're not so close there on the machine. And sorry, I've got an old plate there that is pretty scratched up, but it still works. And whenever you put in your dies, you always want to put them in at an angle. If you've got a straight edge like that, it'll go through your machine a lot better. Okay. Let's move this so so we can get our top plate on. And I'll try to go slowly and maybe it won't shake the camera as much. Just hard not to since it's on the same table. But I'm glad y'all have tuned in. Do any of y'all have do y'all have the impressions plate yet, or the words and frames bundle? I have used it a lot. I've used the words and frames readings a whole lot. Okay, and this kind of stuck to, you want to try to leave it in the frame if you can, but it kind of stuck to the plate. So I know this is the way it came out of the frame. It's important to be able to put it back in just like you had it. Go through the die. Okay, now we're going to put the plate back. We're going to take away number 2 because we're not using that for our impressions plate. Yes, we are. I forgot. Yes, we are. I haven't done this part enough. Okay, now we're going to leave this in as it was in the folder, but we're going to spray it or spritz it with water, which I know I brought earlier. I brought it in here. Let's see where that is. Kelly. Here it is. It's right here. It was kind of hiding from me. Okay. So I'm going to take this and spritz it. This is just one of the Stampin' Up spritzers, and I label it water. So you can kind of see what that is. I'm just going to take, and you want to spray away from yourself and try not to get it on anything where you don't want it. I'm just going to hold it up in the air, and it doesn't have to be wet. You don't want it sopping wet, but you want it kind of damp everywhere. I've kind of spread it. Since it's already come out of the frame, sometimes that can make it move. So I'm going to make sure I don't have any wet on here. In fact, I'm just going to turn that over. Will still work. Okay, I think just in case, I'm going to try to tape this so it doesn't move on me. It's not going to work great because it is damp, but I don't want it moving, so I'm going to do my best to tape it down on both sides. And then we're going to run it through. This is the die, the cutting side up. And I'm going to run it through with the 3D embossing plate. And good heavens. I guess it does have one clear plate. I don't remember this. I need my instruction sheet. Let's see if this works. Nope. Okay, what am I doing wrong? Anybody who usually does this? I should have grabbed my sheet of instructions. I thought we only had these 3 things, but that's not enough. Okay. Good for me, showing y'all how to do it when I evidently don't know how myself. Hang on. I'll be right back. Let me see. Oh, here's my sheet. Thank goodness. Okay. We're supposed to have number 1, number 2, which we have. Oh, I don't have the impressions mat on there. No wonder. Huh. Yeah, this is what makes it work, people. The impressions plate that I was talking about. That's what goes on here. And then the 3D. So you've got the base plate number 1. You've got the number 2 die cutting plate, even though this is not a die. Then you've got the impressions plate, which is really more of a mat or a pad. And then the 3D gray specialty plate on top. Now, we'll show you the magic. Hopefully it didn't move too much. Let's see. I had it taped to the plate. Yay, that's coming off nicely. All righty then. Okay, can you see that detail? Let's see if that helps. Look at that. Look how much those are puffed up, those little triangles on top of each other. Isn't that cool? Very pretty. So that's the frame we're going to use. And this is from the Phrases and Frames dies. And it goes right there. So you've got several that make that big impression. You can see this gold one here that I've done with the big one. Isn't that pretty? Lovely, lovely. And this is a Susan Campfield Million Sales Achiever bundle. So that's cool. I use the phrases a lot with that stamp set. Okay. Let's move all of our die cutting paraphernalia out of the way and open up our kit. We've got 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 2 3/4 and 8 1/4. So we're going to see if we can get that close to that fold, get it even. I'm going to burnish it with the foam folder. Okay, now instead of just going with what the score said, I'm going to try to meet the paper on the left with the paper on the right. Just kind of get those where they meet in the middle so we don't have a big gap. Then I'm going to use my bone folder here. You don't want to use it all over because it'll kind of flatten some of those wonderful, gorgeous vines there. And we use that vines embossing folder that I showed you that is so pretty. Whenever you do this, you'll need to put your paper in like this with the Stampin' Up logo up. So you'll run it through your machine this way, hinge first always. Then you'll turn it around and do it on this end and run it through the same way. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know. Okay, so we've got our simple gatefold base ready. Now we've got our frame ready. We need to cut our scene. I showed you the paper a while ago. You need it to be about 1/8 of an inch bigger than this sheet. This fell out of the middle. So you want to kind of figure out where you want to cut this and how much smaller that needs to be for that to work for you. But we definitely know we're going to cut, whoops, sorry. I know that's louder than we want it to be. I'm going to go about like that. Let's take off more of this on this side. We're going to take off the bottom. Now, let's see, a little bit. Now we're going to have to lose a little more. Well, maybe we don't lose it off the top. We just lose it off the bottom. So this probably needs to be about 2, maybe 2 1/8, 2 1/4. Yikes, we're going to have to lose quite a bit. Okay. And a teeny bit off the top. Okay, let's see if we can get this. The purpose is to get this frame to fit over that seam where you've got a little bit to glue, but it's not sticking out on any of the sides. So we are close enough. We almost cut it too short on the sides, but it works. Yay! Okay, I'll put that out of the way. Grab our silicone mat. We're gluing. And we're going to put a line of glue. Here, let me put the card up here for you so you can see this while we're working. You're just going to put a line of glue just right there along the edge. Okay, with your favorite liquid glue. Center that as best we can. There we go. That's close enough. Yep, I like it. I've got a little too much glue. Okay, so we've soaked that up. Now we're going to attach this. I would say we're going to pop it up onto this layer. And if you have a corner rounder punch, Stampin' Up! Currently doesn't have one, but you can certainly use one if you would like, if you have one. I loaned mine out, so I don't have it at the moment. So we're going to try this one without it. I just kind of like the way that mirrored this corner here to do the corner rounder. But in case you don't have one, I'm going to show you a version with the straight corners. And let's see, right there on that corner, we really don't need that dimensional right there because we're going to have this popped up there. So I'm probably going to move this up a little, or over there. I'm going to move it over there. Okay. Get those backings off. We'll be good to go on that. We're just going to mount that on here, and this, whoo, I should have brought a little sander in here. My blade evidently needed changing. Isn't it amazing how much depth that gives it? I really like that, the cherry cobbler against the mossy meadow. And the mossy meadow size, in case you're wondering on that, is 3 by 4.5. 3 by 4.5. And we're going to attach that to the front. I'm going to pop it up also. And we're only going to put dimensionals on the one side. So I'm going to take this and cover up with my hand where I don't want the dimensionals. That way I know I get the right side, because I want to attach it on the left. And that ought to do us, but we might do one more in the center just for good measure. Awesome. Then we're going to center that evenly over the two panels. So top, bottom, front, left, right, all around. There we go. And dang it, I didn't stamp my I'm Here For You. I keep forgetting to stamp on this DSP first. Hopefully I didn't press this down too hard. You would think I would have learned this morning when I did this to another card. Okay, so we're going to take, well, we're doing it low, so maybe this will be okay. We'll get our silicone mat because we know the glue, the dimensionals aren't going to stick to that. So I'm going to take that middle piece off. Just twist it, usually pulls off fairly well. Okay, now we've got the I'm Here For You. And this comes from the Banner Sayings set. Banner Sayings, which has some great little greetings that seem to be the right size, and they certainly fit with this storybook telling card series. And this is the I'm Here For You. So you've got several you could use. The You Are Loved and You're the Sweetest, that kind of thing. This doesn't really look like a celebration card, but it could. You could put a party hat on Piglet and change the personality of the card totally, right? We're crafters. We are creative. We can do this. We can figure it out. But I just thought with this door open, that just to me says my door is open for you. And that's what it made me think of. So I'm sticking with the I'm Here For You on the outside. And then get that cleaned off. Now, move that out of the way. Add it back to here. And if you ever take your dimensionals off like I did, you can, just to make sure they stick well again, you can just add a little glue, liquid glue to the middle, and you're sure they're going to stick. Okay, this is going in the middle of the mossy meadow, which right there. And while we're at it, we can just go ahead and do the bow so I don't forget. And this is just a linen thread double bow, easy peasy. And thank y'all for tuning in. Would love to know who you are and where you're from. If you want to make a comment, I don't have to put it on the screen if you don't want me to. Just say what your name is. Okay, so I'm just tying it. I don't really like that one, so I'm gonna do it again. I take both threads. This is just linen thread, and I'm using 2 pieces that are, I'm trying to look at my instructions and tie bow at the same time. Let's see, 7 inches. There's 7 each one of the 2 is 7 inches. So cut off 14 and cut it in half, or however you want to do that. Okay. Tighten that up a little bit. You always hold the knot. If you're trying to tighten up your bow, you want to hold the knot. Okay, then we're just going to leave these kind of at different levels like that. Now, I'm going to make that a little shorter. Then I'm going to take the bow. Anytime you can take the embellishment to the glue dot, that's going to work better for you. And you can try this way. You can pull both sides like that. Pull the tails and the loops, and that'll tighten it up. So we're going to take the knot to the glue dot and just twist it off. Kind of fold that dot up so that's more of a log in the back. And then I'm just adding that to the top of this tree to just mimic the little branches up there that are kind of going every which way. Like that. That's all there is to that. Then we're going to add Piglet, which I don't think I have fussy cut yet. We'll do that really quickly. Isn't that cute with his little scarf trailing behind him? Are y'all fussy cutter people? I don't mind it. I can do it while I'm kind of listening to TV or something like that. Oh, hey, Jan. I think you like this one, Jan, because of that Stone and Vine. You talked me into buying that little embossing folder. I didn't have it, and you had it, and I had FOMO. And I'm so glad I bought it. I love the deep impressions that it makes. We had a lot of fun at our Pooh party. We had some people come on part of one day and part of another day, and just kind of spread everybody out over 3 days and had a good time. We had honey flavored barbecue honey flavored chips, and we had honey barbecue sliders, and we had honey mustard dressing on our salad, and we had little bit of honey treats and honey sticks and lots of honey going on. Eileen made awesome honey flavored cupcakes. It was just quite a day for 3 different days. We loved it. We had a lot of fun. And you will enjoy creating with this paper, whether or not you have my kit, or if you're interested in making all the cards that we made. I have a PDF tutorial that's linked. It's not really a total tutorial since the videos are really the tutorial part, but it does have all the measurements and the supplies listed in the PDF. And you have photos of inside and outside. Okay, I think I just glued him because instead of popping him up, because the frame is already popped up. So I just put glue behind him. And you want to make sure like his scarf is hanging off, his feet are hanging off. So you really just want to concentrate kind of right there in the middle. So you're not putting glue where you don't want it. But we want it having where he's kind of coming from out of the frame and going into the house, into the open door. So that's the way I thought of it, as telling them my little story. Okay, we'll use a little wink of Stella on Piglet and his scarf. Just kind of give it some something going on. And then I'm going to sparkle up the door too. Why ever not? That's kind of our focal area. And then you've got a little window right here you can sparkle. Or we could use the shimmer brush on that if we want a little gold. We could make that window shine gold. How about that? Maybe there's a little gold shining in here in the darkness. Okay. You could even make him have a little gold stripe. Let's see how that shows up on the mossy meadow. Cute. Okay, we'll come back and do the embellishments last. Let's go ahead and do the inside, where we've got the arch. This is from the Everyday Arches set. Hello, Rosemary. Nice to meet you from Murrieta, California. Did I say it properly? I'm glad you're here. Thank you, thank you. Hope you'll share it with your crafty friends. Okay, let's go ahead and get this stamped. And I think you could put the "You Are Loved" that we saw on that other set, or we can use this "You're on My Mind and in My Heart," which comes from the Friendly Foliage set, or just a "Thinking of You." You have "I'm Here for You" on the front, so you've got some flexibility of what to do on the inside and still make it a card that just makes the recipient feel warm and welcome, and know that you are thinking of them and your friendship is going to last a while. Just like these Winnie the Pooh sentiments and characters, right? I'm going to take that off just to make sure I know about where that goes right here. You're on my mind and in my heart. And if y'all have any questions or comments, I will sure try to watch for those and answer what I can. Let me get that stamp cleaned really quickly, because I will make a mess if I don't. How do I know? Ask me how I know. Been there, done that more than once. Okay, but I really like the way the arch from the Everyday Arches dies, how that curve, and this may have been Jan's idea, I think, because we've got so many curves here, instead of just making a rectangular background like we usually do, to do this with the arch. And of course you can see that this corner is sticking out a little bit behind here. So we're just going to chop those off. There's no rhyme or rule or whatever. We're just going to chop those off. And then we'll make the greeting fit over that. However that works. If we need to cut it a little more, we'll cut it a little more. But I think we're going to be good to go. Okay. So I'm going to just glue this down. You can use liquid glue. You can use Stampin' Seal, whatever your adhesive of choice is. And then you can see the difference in this frame and this frame. And can anybody guess what we used to make that happen? Yes, indeed. We're going to use the Golden Glow Shimmer Pen, which you need to shake every time before you use it. And the way I decided to do it was to try to go around those little circles first, so I didn't just go over them. I did the little dots. I made a circle around them. That just seemed the easiest way to me. And then just take it and go from one, just kind of stroke like that. You can turn your paper, but just long, sure strokes are great. And you just move it around till you fill up the whole frame there. Gives it a little extra pizzazz. How many of y'all have the shimmer brushes? This is the only one I have so far, but I am going to get some of the other colors. I like that it comes in all 5 of the 24, 26 in colors. All right, I'm going to gold up his little stool and gold up this little bell here and little tassel, whatever this is. I'm not sure exactly what all that is, but, and then he's got a gold door knocker up here. I'm going to make that gold, and we'll just go ahead and put some gold on his shirt there, and then we'll wink the rest of him because we want Piglet to be a little sparkly. He's got to be a focal point, so he's going to sparkle. And I think that's all we need to do on that. Let that dry for a second, and then we'll put it on here. Try not to smear any of that while it has time to dry. And again, use whatever adhesive you'd like on this. I don't usually pop up the inside because I've done dimensionals on the outside, and you don't want to make your card bulky for no reason. So there we go. There's our inside, and we left enough room for you to write a little message to send to your friend that you're thinking of. And it opens and closes like that. So there's your Pooh gatefold. How fun is that? So I just coordinated the, oh, Rosemary, you've got the shimmer brushes. You have all of them? Awesome. I'm a little jealous. I'll have them soon, I hope. All right. There we go. We're going to add some crumb cake embellishments on the front. These are from the Pearls of Beauty, I think, or I believe that's what it's called. It will be in the description below, all the supplies that I used. So I'm just using the crumb cake ones. And let's see what we did here. I did, oops, lost that big one. It could be floating in the air. It can be down a little. Where do we want that? I'm just going to barely put it on there until we decide for sure what we like. And I had one up here because you kind of want it to frame the greeting or the sentiment. That's your focal point, but you also have cute little Piglet over here. Let's see, do I want that further down? Or do I want that maybe up in the tree? Nope, we don't want him over there. We'll just do something a little different and put that down. Since I didn't do this in the same place, we'll just count those like that. Okay. And that is card number 7 in our series. So thank you very much. I'll switch the camera around so I can say goodbye. And I hope y'all will come back in a little while, probably half an hour or so. And I will do the other one. Another one. Not the other one because we've got 10, but I'm hoping to finish them all today. So here's your gatefold card with your little Piglet saying he's here for you. He's coming to the door. And your door is always open for your friends, right? So here we go. Thank y'all again for tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed this card and the rest of them in this series. So share it with your crafty friends. we got a lot of fun times ahead. Y'all stay tuned. Come back to see me. I'll post it. If you've gotten notifications on my YouTube channel of Create with Kelly Pitts, it'll come up, or hopefully it posts to Facebook too. It's supposed to, but doesn't always. So thanks for tuning in. Have a good day. Fun times ahead. Bye-bye.